Hello, and welcome to Developmental Talent. Your ears are about to be crammed full of the most action-packed wrestling podcast on the entire fucking planet. And it's exclusively on freaksugar.com. Now, here's your host, hailing from parts unknown, Lemon Juice McGee.
That's right, it's the 12th episode of Developmental Talent, the weekly professional wrestling podcast exclusively on freaksugar.com. We just spent time here in the studio talking about spandex, and it got a little awkward. With me tonight is the fighting man, Matt Pierce.
Hey guys, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. I can't really argue that. Our wrestling historian, Hoagie Masters.
I like Tony Schiavone.
Shut up. And our new rumor guy, Justin Durbin.
I'm wondering whether or not Seth Rollins chafes during interviews.
I would think he does. I mean, that's a lot of leather. It's wet a lot of the time. I'm thinking he leaves there with a lot of red marks.
I think he gets keeps that bike powder in stock. You know, that stuff like the gaunch powder you get when you ride bicycles on long distances.
Like you pack onto your taint?
Yeah, taint powder.
Taint powder. You heard it? I mean, I don't know. It's a rumor. Does Seth Rollins use taint powder? I don't know.
Someday I hope to ask him that question.
There you go. It's always something to shoot for.
Yeah.
So, if that intro's any indication, this show's going to be a fun one. I guess we're going to kick things off with a Figure 5.
The Figure 5.
This is the Figure 5, where we do a top 5 list. Totally wrestling related. This week's list is a little bit different, though, as it's a mystery to me as to what this list is. Matt came into the studio, refused to tell us, which makes me leery, and almost to the point where I was like, fuck you, we need to know what the list is. But we're going to take a chance. Worst case scenario, you guys never hear this because we've re-recorded it with whoever the new podcast member is. Whoever helped us bury Matt's body. So, tentatively, take it away, Matt.
All right, guys. All the Tony Schiavone talk lately has inspired me, and this week's Figure 5 is the top 5 Tony Schiavone moments.
Oh, you're fucking dead. Flip the table, Hoagie.
Table flipped.
Okay, no, it's not Tony Schiavone moments. It's the top 5 announced teams in history of wrestling.
Okay. That actually sounds pretty good.
At number 5, we have the team of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes and the Italian Stallion Tony Schiavone.
God damn it. Is it really a Tony Schiavone list? Like, is this really going to be Tony Schiavone 5 times in a row? Because if it is, let's just cut it now.
No, it's not Tony Schiavone 5 times in a row.
All right, make your case for Schiavone and Dusty Rhodes.
Well, back when all WCW was WCW Saturday Night, they were the voice of the 8:05 time slot or whatever that Saturday night was on. It was a lot of people's introduction to it's the classic guy who doesn't really know about wrestling but is a reporter, and then wrestler who doesn't really know how to report. So you got Dusty Rhodes, who says all kinds of crazy things, and then you got Tony Schiavone, who's trying to reel him in and make it make sense of all of it. So I don't know, it worked for me because it told a story in a way that if you didn't know what was going on, that was okay because Tony really didn't either.
I actually, believe it or not, I was watching a WCW match the other night with that announced team on there. And I thought Dusty did pretty well being the storyteller of the match.
Yeah.
Schiavone was trying to do the play-by-play. He was possibly touching himself under the table. I wasn't there at the time. None of us were. We can't say one way or the other. I'm just going to assume he was. But Dusty was the one who was given the emphasis for the drama part of the match that was going on.
And I'll never forget, the reason I put him on the list is I remember, like to this day, there was a match on Saturday night where the guy, he kissed his fist. And Dusty's like, oh, it's on now. And Tony had no idea what he was talking about. And Dusty went on for like 5 minutes about how you could hit a guy all day long, but when you kiss your fist, you put yourself into it and you knock him the hell out. So that's why they're on the list, because it stuck out in my memory.
That does make perfect sense in wrestler speak. The kiss in the fist.
Yeah.
Going back to, you're talking about the announcer and the wrestler combo thing. Another one WCW did was Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, they did. It was a little bit before that. Jesse Ventura kind of went around.
Early
Then
90s.
he went to Hollywood, I think, and then tried to do some movies. And now he's a governor.
Was
a governor.
Was a governor. Now he, I think he's trying to fight aliens or...
Oh, yeah, the conspiracy theory thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some stuff going on.
Well, in fairness, he fought an alien.
That's true. he did die at the hands of a predator. So
Only because the predator knew he had to kill Jesse Ventura first to have a chance.
Yeah.
All right, next up at number 4, we have a team that sort of made SmackDown for a while for a lot of people, JBL and Cole. They've kind of grown Cole as the voice of WWE in the absence of JR. JBL's damn good in commentary when he's not screaming at Michael Cole about how Michael Cole is weak and stuff. I don't know what he does now.
And this is the same JBL and Cole that are currently on Raw.
Yeah, but you got to add the King to that.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, they've changed. Like, there are no...
They've changed, man. They've changed.
There are no 3-man commentary teams on my list because I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody's always going to be a third wheel. And right now, what happens is you have King, who's basically like in the middle. He's like the kid in the middle. And you have Cole and you have JBL who scream at each other. And it's not even really commentary anymore. It's just annoying. I'd really almost not have it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, who can forget JBL's whole "we fought on Friday nights" thing? I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
JBL, and Cole's had some part. He had Booker T and some other guys, but JBL is reset enough people's memory, and he's articulate enough that he works as the the color guy. And then Cole, I mean, say what you will about Cole, when he's actually doing play-by-play commentary, he's actually pretty good at it. So that's a number 4. Our number 3 goes way back. Macho Man Andy Savage and Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
That's a team I can get behind.
Yeah.
The team that a lot of people outside of independent people knowing I made this list said that if I ever made a list of commentary teams, this one had to be on it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people's fondest memories in wrestling is this list of that team.
Well, it's a great team.
Yeah.
You got Vince McMahon, who possibly still to this day actually is the commentary team through their headsets.
That's true.
Just doing it straight on the mic. Mm-hmm. And you got the Macho Man, who he's the goddamn Macho Man.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing. Like it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Which they did a lot, mostly on Raw and some pay-per-views and stuff. When Macho Man actually left, Vince got on he was on commentary and was talking. He's like, "Conspicuous by his absence, my announce partner, the Macho Man Randy Savage, and explained, what was going on and everything, and that he wished him the best and everything.
And wished him the best in his future endeavors.
No, I mean he was really heartfelt and considerate about it, the way he sounded.
That's what I think the heart of the whole Vince Macho thing was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was any of the other rumors people propagated throughout the years. I think it really was that Hogan had left, and in Vince's eyes, Macho was like right there with Hogan at that point in time, and he thought Macho would never leave, and he left him, and it's just sour grapes. That's what I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also on Macho's side, there's the whole forced basic retirement thing where, you're going to be the commentary guy because we got the new generation coming, you're not going to wrestle anymore.
I mean, I definitely get it. And Macho Man obviously had years left in him. I mean, he won his Scooby belt.
He went for a while.
Yeah. That's a number 3. Or number 2 is Joey Styles.
That is a great number 2.
Yes, it is.
Joey Styles, he is the guy who is a 2-man commentary team as one guy.
I actually wrote this list out about 4 different times.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Styles bounced around. At first, he wasn't even on it because he's not technically a team.
Yeah.
But he's the guy, like you said, he trumps any 2-man, just about any 2-man team. And anytime they put him with somebody, it brought him down. It made him less. It didn't make him less good. I mean, it didn't make him worse. It just made him. he's obviously more comfortable doing it by himself.
Yeah. I can tell, especially in the late ECW days, him and Cyrus.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like he wasn't himself slightly.
Well, he'd done it with Rick Rude for a while, too. And that was good. Because Rick Rude at the time was the grizzled, I'm not wrestling anymore guy, and he'd just say outrageous things, and Joey Styles would be like, oh my God! You know?
Yeah.
And it would work. But, I mean, everybody has all these fond memories of ECW, and that's fine, but most of my fond memories of ECW are because the fact that Joey Styles wasn't like... He wasn't anything else that they had. Like, he wasn't like anything WWE had, and he wasn't anything WCW had. Yeah. He was straight up like a sports announcer.
I mean, he would give the story of the match, but he would also just... I mean, they would chain wrestle, and he would just list off every single maneuver without missing a beat.
Yeah, like he knew the names of the moves. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen...
Like the legit names, not the name like this wrestler gave, like this is my finisher name. Like he would give the technical names for these moves.
Like Top Con Hilo. Who knows that? Joey Styles. That's who knows what Top Con Hilo is. But yeah, I mean, he's just awesome. You can't have a list without him. Mm. Next up, we have our honorable mention. And it is a TNA team. Mm-hmm. It's Taz and Mike Tenay. They're not the first commentary team they had. Tenay's been there for, I think, just about since TNA started. Mm-hmm. And Don West was there. And Don West was horrible. I mean, he's good at selling things on the little commercials. Mm-hmm. He's not good on commentary.
I don't think he's good at selling things on the commercials.
No.
I was trying to be kind. Taz... actually wound up being really good at commentary. I mean, in WWE, he was really good at it. He was good on a mic, which is just part of it. Mm-hmm. And he goes back to being that wrestler who just knows what it's like in the ring. Now, I do wish they would have him not participate in storylines.
Mm-hmm. Like he was the Aces and Eights.
Yeah, like he was in Aces and Eights, and that was really weird to me. Because he'd be just normal Taz up till Aces and Eights came out, then all of a sudden he's like heel wrestler Taz, and it's just weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I mean, it's a good team. And it gave TNA a voice, which is one of the things that they need. Yeah. And now it's going to be Josh Matthews and Taz. We'll see how that goes, but...
Yeah. I mean, Josh Matthews, I'm sure, will be the straight man commentary, and then Taz will be the color, you know?
Yeah. And TNA is almost like Joey Styles if Joey Styles had no, I won't say charisma, but it's really that. Like, Tenay can't really carry that thing by himself. He knows everything. But after a while, you're just like, man, he's not my science teacher. That's why you got to have someone like Taz. And Taz is really the opposite of that. He's dynamic, and he adds to Tenay's massive amount of wrestling knowledge.
Yeah.
Second only to Hoagie.
Which, going back to Mike Tenay and all his knowledge, in WCW, they called him the Professor.
Yep. Sure did.
Mike Tenay.
Yep.
Because it bored him to fucking sleep. I don't know.
That was Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, it was. No, Tony Schiavone robbed him when they were sleeping. Because Tony Schiavone is a known thief.
We have no evidence to back that up, by the way.
We don't need evidence. We know in our hearts.
For the first time ever, on the Figure 5, I have a tie for first place.
Oh.
So, the first number one is the team of JR and Jerry the King Lawler.
That's number one.
It is number one.
It is number one. Yeah, that's just number one.
Yeah. They called some of the greatest matches.
I don't know who your tie is, but fuck, they better be pretty damn good.
They're pretty fucking good.
All right, we got...
Well, you want to talk about JR and King first?
We can talk about them.
All right. But how they call... JR has all the iconic moments. Good God Almighty, he's broken in half.
Yeah, I watched it last night.
Yeah.
I watched it last night.
And King, when King was good... Mm-hmm. When King was better...
Well, now there's a point...
Yeah.
Where it was one of those nostalgia things with the Attitude Era where there's a point where Lawler's sole vocabulary is various ways to say puppies. You know?
That is true.
Like, there are negatives to the Attitude Era. That was at the height of the sexualized part of it, and he... almost as excruciating as his jokes are now. Was that with the puppies.
I think the worst because it's old men telling them. So it's like, yeah. But, I mean, you put him with JR and it's just gold. Mm. Now, like I said, I wrote this list out 4 or 5 times. And at one point in time, this was as low as number 3 behind Joey Styles and then this next team. To me, the best team in the history of wrestling, broadcast team, is the team of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Because when I think of WrestleMania moments, I know a lot of people say that they picture JR calling it. But to me, it's just Heenan and Gorilla. Gorilla was something that they've never really had before, since. He was like the good guy. It was obviously good guy, bad guy. But Gorilla was the good guy who wasn't afraid of the bad guys. Like, he would get to interview people and they'd mouth off to him and he'd back them back down.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one of those things where you could, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin come out and beat the hell out of Cole for like 5 minutes. If you tried to do it on Gorilla, Gorilla would have, I guess, airplane spun him, but, you know. But, I mean, you got Bobby Heenan, greatest guy ever on the mic, I think. One of my top guys ever. Give him a mic, and it's just golden. And his whole, I always remember when Shawn Michaels turned on Mario Jannetty, and then he threw him through the window, and Bobby Heenan was like, Mario Jannetty's trying to jump through the window to get away. That's awesome. Or him calling Piper's kill a skirt.
Yeah, I actually watched that last night.
That's awesome, man. And then you had Gorilla who'd bring him in, tell him to shut up, calm down. They just had a dynamic, man, that to me, I don't know, that's to me the golden age of wrestling. That's when I think about being a kid watching like Saturday Night Main Event or Saturday Morning Superstars or whatever. I think of Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Yeah. That's why they're my number one.
Yeah, I mean, those were both the commentary teams from the heights of both times of WWE's most popular time frames.
That's true. And Gorilla did do it with Jesse Ventura for a while, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was okay. It just seemed like, I don't know, something about... Well, I mean, they were friends in real life. Heenan and Gorilla were, and you could tell. Like, they had really good chemistry together, and it really worked. Also, I have a 1B, and it's Tony Schiavone by himself. That's not true.
That is the greatest announced team ever.
Tony Schiavone and Mark Madden. Woo! That's not true at all. But yeah, that's the figure 5. Let's go back over them. It's Tony Schiavone and Dusty Rhodes, JBL and Cole, McMahon and Randy Savage, Joey Styles by himself, and at first place we have a tie between JR and the King and Gorilla and the Brain.
Okay, now, let's say we were to take both of those teams in their prime announcing years and put them in a Hell in a Cell. What team walks out?
Gorilla and the Brain, man. Have you seen Gorilla Monsoon? In his prime? He beat Muhammad Ali.
No, is announcing prime.
Oh, you mean calling the Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, these are announcers. 80s Gorilla Monsoon, 90s Lawler and Cole, or Ross. This is 80s Brain, too. So basically, you're looking at the Brain and JR going at it, and Lawler and Gorilla going at it.
I'd have to give it to Gorilla and Brain just because I don't think 90s Lawler could get through more than like 3 sentences without saying something about puppies.
But they're fighting in Hell in a Cell.
They're fighting?
Yes, they're battling. Have you missed all of this? Yes, we're taking the 80s announced team and the 90s announced team, and we're pitting them in a Hell in a Cell. No, they're in a Hell in a Cell. Tony Schiavone is calling the Hell in a Cell.
Who the fuck's gonna watch that? No, I would still give it to Gorilla and Bobby because they had matches. Gorilla Monsoon was a wrestler.
Lawler, the King of Memphis.
Yeah, but Gorilla Monsoon's fucking huge. He's Gorilla who just beat up Jerry Lawler. And then Bobby Heenan, I don't know. JR just like running around and he couldn't even beat up Eric Bischoff. Come on.
That's true. And Lawler couldn't beat up Cole. Well, sort of.
Yeah. Lawler couldn't beat Miz. I feel like Gorilla would destroy Miz. Take the belt. Just take it home.
Put it in a bathtub.
Put it
in a bathtub full of milk. I don't know. Okay, well.
I mean, it could just be my nostalgia. But to me, like, the voice of the WWE will always be Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Close second, the voice of the Attitude Era is definitely JR and the King. feels like it should be a movie. JR and the King.
Like when we're there in a semi truck. I don't know.
Called BJ and the Bear?
Yeah, like transporting. What could they transport?
They could transport cores across the Mississippi.
There's got to be some WWE related.
Pot brownies to the divas.
Pot brownies to the divas. Which,
as
we see, is going to be... Yeah, it's a semi-truck full of pot brownies.
That's like 14 felonies.
Lawler don't care.
Lawler don't care.
They're just out driving the roads, hunting lot lizards. That would be an interesting movie. Okay. So anyway, that was the Figure 5, I guess. Regardless of what you're thinking now, it was Greatest Announced Teams.
This week in wrestling history.
This is the segment where you probably guessed it. We take a look back at this week in wrestling history. The name, well, it pretty much speaks for itself, I guess. With us, as always, is our resident wrestling historian, Hoagie Masters, to tell us the secrets of the past.
Okay, folks, this week we're going to talk a lot about Starrcade, which was pretty much WCW's version of WrestleMania. This week, the 96 version of it took place. A couple important things happened. Starting off, the Ultimo Dragon. He faced up against Dean Malenko and won to unify the WCW Cruiserweight title and the Great J Crown Championship. The J Crown thing, it was like a set of 8 belts that represented all different types of like cruiserweight divisions around the world.
I think I've seen a photo with him wearing all of them like, all over his body.
Yeah. So it's 8 or 9 belts. I can't remember right off.
9.
Sure. Yeah. And then he had the WCW Cruiserweight.
And the way the tournament works is each match is a match for a belt, and then when you win, you get all 9 belts. So there are a lot of people who remember Ultimo Dragon for tripping over his cape at WrestleMania. I remember Ultimo Dragon for having the 9 fucking belts.
Yeah.
You know, like that picture where he's got belts, so many belts that his people carry them for him.
Moving on, another big title win at this pay-per-view was Eddie Guerrero. He won the United States title, defeating DDP. It was the finals of a tournament they had because Ric Flair got injured. He was the champion at the time. So they had to vacate the title. And Eddie Guerrero ended up winning. This was, I believe, his first big singles title in the United States. I think he had the tag belts in ECW and everything, but big stage wise, this was his first big one.
It definitely wouldn't be his last.
No,
by no means.
No. Moving on to the main event of the evening, it was Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper.
Ooh.
Not for the WCW title though. This is a match.
Grudge match.
Yeah. Piper ended up winning with a sleeper hold. This
sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah. This was the first time Hulk Hogan had been defeated cleanly. Clean win since WrestleMania 6.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's a pretty long record out there.
Yeah.
And every other time he had been defeated, it was, I believe, like in a singles match anyway, something had happened to cause the win. Like interference or an object.
Oh, probably interference from the NWO piling in or something.
Yeah.
And, like, for instance, when he lost the WWE title right before he left to Yokozuna, the cameraman, the fireball. That incident.
That's true.
And stuff.
Now, is this the match where Hogan tried to do the fireball?
No, that was against Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was Halloween Havoc 98.
Yeah,
okay.
That's pathetic.
I know it was some type of old timer fight in WCW.
That's all WCW was old timer fight.
I know, right?
Moving on, the following year, Starrcade also happened this week. Few important things with it. I believe this was one of the first times Bret Hart, I think it was the first pay-per-view he was on for them. So he refereed a match, I believe it was Eric Bischoff against Larry Sabisco.
That'll put butts in seats.
That they had that match, and then he came out for the main event, which I'll get to in just a minute. DDP, the year before, had lost in the U.S. title tournament. This year, he ended up winning the U.S. title. He beat Kurt Hennig. That was his first time with that belt, which kind of helped elevate him on to bigger things, which on down the road winning the world title and things like that. The main event, though, a match they had built on for at least a year. Hulk Hogan versus Sting for the WCW title.
And I want to point out, this match should show you why WCW failed. They had a year's worth of build up to this. This was the hottest match of the year almost going into it. And it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, they had a thing during the match that Nick Patrick was out there as the referee. Which he was with the NWO and all this, and he counted the 1, 2, 3 for Hogan. And Bret Hart comes out and be like, no, you did a fast count. And everything. So he kicked Nick Patrick out, and he decided to be the referee.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah. And Sting put Hogan in the Scorpion Deathlock, made him tap out, and for the first time in a while, WCW had control of that belt.
Yeah. NWO ran roughshod with it for a while. Well, longer than that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, it wasn't that great of a match.
No. Because it wasn't a fast count. It was a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It was basically WCW trying to cash in the fucking screw job.
Yeah, I actually have a magazine that has a full article about that.
Yeah.
Talking about that whole incident. But moving on to another thing that was really cool this week. Mick Foley, this time he was Mankind, won his first WWF title.
Yep, this is the anniversary of the actual win. Not when it aired.
Yes.
It aired a couple weeks later.
Yeah, it was January 4th was when it aired, but the match itself took place. It was December 29th, 1998. Yeah. He defeated The Rock to win that, which is it's a very famous match.
Yeah, well, the recent episode of Monday Night War on the network spends quite a bit of time talking about that match.
Yeah.
And the horrible mistake made by Tony fucking Schiavone.
That's right.
That caused the ratings to drop for WCW.
WCW never beat Raw in ratings again after Tony Schiavone said that.
No. Tony Schiavone single-handedly brought down the entire WCW.
Damn you, Tony Schiavone.
Damn you to hell.
But yeah, that about wraps it up for this week in wrestling history.
Keeping it raw.
And yet another Keeping It Raw has risen its ugly, filthy head. This week's Monday Night Raw, I was in and out on. We were watching it, but I had some other shit to do, so I skipped a lot. What I saw, for the most part, wasn't a big deal that I missed it. But I'm going to let you guys kind of handle this, and I'll just pop in on things that I actually witnessed with my eyeballs. So, how'd the show kick off?
Well, the show kicked off. Our guest host, Christian and Edge, come out, which they officially announced this. People were probably wondering about this. Christian is now retired from wrestling.
Due to concussion.
Yeah.
And more importantly, still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
And comes out, and they talk about what's going to happen tonight and everything, and music hits, and here comes Brock Lesnar.
I did see that. Lesnar came out with the belt this time, and Paul Heyman in tow, where Paul Heyman basically let it be known that, and I'm paraphrasing here, Brock Lesnar wants to fuck John Cena right in his neck. His virgin neck. I don't think he said fuck. I'm pretty sure he can't. But it was insinuated that Brock Lesnar wanted to throat fuck John Cena into submission.
Well, the reason all this came about was Edge and Christian are in the ring, and neither one of them can really do anything. Brock Lesnar comes out, and they kind of act like they want to stand defiant, but back of their head, they realize they can't.
Because the back of their head's the problem.
Yeah.
Over Christian anyway.
Yeah, well, kind of for Edge to his neck.
Yeah.
And Heyman's like, no. You guys are old and washed up. The Beast Incarnate wants the virgin neck of John Cena to sink his fangs into.
And his penis.
He didn't say penis.
He didn't say it.
He implied it.
His eyes said penis.
Brock Lesnar's eyes was like, yeah.
And his teeth.
And his teeth.
Yeah. He has the worst teeth. Like you have a multi-million-dollar contract. Get your fucking teeth fixed. You're on TV 4 times a year.
Maybe Sable finds him attractive.
Maybe.
Oh, obviously.
She married him, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants to eat raw bear meat. I don't know. I will say though, I feel like WWE is doing Edge and Christian a disservice by having them on. We talked about it a little bit during the show. Their gimmick did not age well. And a lot of it, I think, is Edge just kind of moved on from wrestling, and Christian is still like, hey, Edge, come over here and make me relevant again.
Yeah.
They're not really surfer dudes anymore, but that's what they still try to be, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like I don't like it.
Which, I mean, when the show first started, they had Tony Chimmel.
Yeah.
Do their interaction because he does wonderful with Edge. He even announced Christian. He just announced Edge.
Well, it was Edge's music, too.
Yeah. And this Christian came out with him.
Yeah, that's true. Then John Cena came out, and they had a little scuffle. Brock Lesnar laughed at him. Cena tried to hit the attitude adjustment, and didn't really work out. And that's really seen, I guess. I mean...
Yeah.
And then Christian and Edge made some announcements for the card.
Yeah. We had title versus champion versus champion match. No belts on the line. It was Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Mm-hmm. It was an okay match. I mean, Ziggler got some upper hands on Rusev, but
it was just a Rusev crush, is what it was.
Yeah, but and I caught the end of that. Rusev basically just kicks the shit out of Dolph Ziggler in his gut till the ref rings the bell. He puts Ziggler in the Accolade over the bottom rope and holds it on him, won't let go. The refs come out, and then feed me more. Music hits. Ryback tears away the little bit of clothing he was wearing as a shirt and runs to the ring to avenge Dolph and run Rusev out.
Yep.
And then we are treated
to a monologue
from Ryback that I feel like none of us were expecting.
It was like a "This Is Your Life."
Yeah.
I now know that Ryback worked in a Louisville barbecue joint for 12 hours a day, slaving.
And this is after he fucked up Developmental the first time.
Yeah,
and lost everything.
Lost $1 million tough enough. And then what was it that he attributed his success to?
Everything that he sort of has now, he now sort of attributes to The Secret, which if you actually go to his Twitter feed, is one of the 4 Twitter pages that he actually follows. The Secret, some random chick, MasterCard, and I think WWE. I can't remember the fourth one.
I would hope WWE. I feel like you probably have to follow WWE if you're on the road. Like you're like, nope, you're our first follow.
Yeah. Like Punk didn't, and we saw what happened there. So. And what's the secret? You might ask. I don't know. Does anybody else know?
I don't know what the secret is, but if it gets you in the WWE, it might be worth reading. Apparently, it's mostly just like positive thought, thinking positives, believing in yourself, motivating yourself through positive thought, blah, blah, blah. What it amounts to is that Ryback gave a better motivational speech for The Secret during this time than Bo Dallas has ever given.
So what you're saying is The Secret isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It is. Yeah, it was a weird time-filling promo that the crowd did not boo or take a shit on.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And it was one of those things where they acknowledged the fact that he had been in the WWE as Skip Sheffield and as the Silverback, as not Ryback. You know, I mean, it was weird. don't know. Usually they won't acknowledge that sort of thing unless it's one of those behind the scenes, like, this guy used to wrestle for us like 10 years ago.
Yeah, we talked about it. Like maybe it was a time filler thing, but I mean, they had to prep those videos for his speech. I mean, it was obviously planned at least somewhat ahead of time.
It's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's to help get the crowd on his side going into this battle with Rusev, because he rounded it out with the challenge to Rusev.
Yeah. That he said was not about America versus Russia.
And I thought that was good.
He said it's not an America versus Russia thing. It's a big guy kicking another big guy's ass thing.
Yep.
Which is great, because there have been so many there have been definitely a couple superstars that, well, they've just really tried to gimmick change too quickly into the whole America thing. Yeah. Specifically, Big E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to an extent, Mark Henry.
Yeah, Mark Henry was the worst one. It's like, bitch, I was like, here's your, this is like Rocky IV. Here's your...
Yeah.
What? Okay. Where Apollo's... I don't know. It's weird.
For those of you listening and not visualizing this with us at this table, Matt was holding his hands out as if Big Show was handing Mark Henry a singlet.
That's what happened.
I know. Yeah, you didn't say.
Okay, well, that's true. I didn't. But it was just really random because Mark Henry, I guess, at first was the Olympic gold athlete that was the strongest man alive and all that stuff. Mm. But he's not been that in 30 years.
Yeah, he was never coming to the WWE. Well, when he very first was in WWE, he was like the kind of America, but it was all about the world's strongest man thing.
Yeah.
Still, it wasn't like... Yeah,
and America he was in the Olympics. Yeah. They bring that up every once in a while. But
let's face it, the longest he's ever been anything, he was sexual chocolate.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, or when he was in the Nation. He really didn't have a gimmick then. He was just Mark Henry. But.
Yeah. But yeah, the Ryback thing, I mean, I like it so far. Since he's come back, I think the crowds have accepted him, I
think Ryback will be Rusev.
Yeah?
I think so. It may not be till Mania. Mm-hmm. But I think that
Ryback will be the one.
I think so, because they want to build Ryback. And they want to do it right. They don't want to shove him down everybody's throats like they did last time.
Yep. He's not had has Ryback ever had a title? I mean, besides like tag. I think he might have tag with Curtis Axel.
I don't even know if he had that.
Yeah, I don't think.
Because Curtis Axel only ever had an Intercontinental belt, I think. Oh, no, he might have had it as NXT guys, but...
Yeah, I think he had NXT. I don't think they ever had the tag, but...
I think they fought for it.
They gave him the run against Punk for the WWE title.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whenever he had to take place at Cena.
Yeah.
Yep. The whole year they tried to build him, he lost to everybody. He lost to Mark Henry at WrestleMania. He lost to John Cena because someone was hurt and he took John Cena's spot. Mm-hmm. Or he took the spot against a guy. Then he took John Cena's spot against Punk. It was... I don't know.
Yeah, this might be Ryback's time to win some gold. To win that super nice looking U.S. belt.
I'd say sometime within the next year he'll win some kind of gold. Probably not the WWE title, but maybe like an IC belt, U.S. or tag even.
I think Ryback though is definitely a future world champion.
I like the slow rise they're doing here, but the worst part of this segment for me is I don't feel like they needed to step on Dolph Ziggler's shoulders to get him that slow ride for the night.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That is true. But that can be said almost every week, it seems like, anymore. Like, no matter how much they push Dolph, and you're like, yeah, this is it. And he still gets shit on, like, constantly.
Yeah, he's like... It's almost like a Christian situation, where I don't think they like... Well, it seems like they don't know what to do with him, but the people behind him. So, I don't know. Yeah, it kind of was a way to like use Dolph's popularity to springboard Dolph.
But I've said the same thing about Batista. Like Batista, who the people booed out of the building like idiots before he left. Now, which of course now he's coming off Guardians, so everybody's going to be, But if he come back and save Daniel Bryan from getting attacked by people or something and then powerbomb Triple H, people would cheer the shit out of him. Oh, yeah. So this is kind of that same thing with Ryback. Like, Ryback's being cheered anyway, but him helping a fan favorite is just going to cement it further.
That's true.
To where people cheer and don't think about it. They're automatically cheering because he's helping one of their guys.
Yeah, and Ryback really doesn't interact with a lot of people backstage. Like, he doesn't... He's a good guy, but he doesn't really hang out with the good guys or the bad guys. I mean, he just kind of is his own thing. So it's good to see him every once in a while come out and help somebody or, whatever.
Yeah. Well, he did that authority thing where he flip-flopped around like a fish for weeks.
That's true. Yeah. That was a bad stretch of Raw.
That was. Okay.
There was a tag title match after that.
There was a tag title match, and I missed the entire thing. So what do we have?
Well, it was the Usos and Mizdow. Before that even started, though, you had Naomi come out and thank Miz. Because apparently she got to produce. The producer looked at her and he's going to talk to her or whatever. Mm-hmm. So Miz is acting like he has no idea what's going on, kind of. Like, I think honestly it's like what you said, where he was just trying to be a nice guy and it wasn't that big of a deal to him. But
I mean, that's what they're making it. They're making it to where it's like, oh, it's supposed to be like, oh, Miz is being shady, but it seems like he's really the good guy in this, as he tried to help out someone who he thinks is talented.
Yeah.
And her husband is being this overbearing, crazy, protective guy. And I could see it being kind of a tie-in with Total Divas and his jealousy thing and all that, but it's so weird.
Yeah.
Because you think they would make it all skeevy with the Miz, like, trying to, like, I got you this meeting, so now, but no, they're not even doing that.
Yeah, and he seemed completely, like, he just didn't get why she was thanking him, because to him it wasn't anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say, though, this is probably the match of the night, as far as just in-ring wrestling. It was a good match.
It was a very good match.
Really good match. Back and forth. Most of it was Miz. He stopped the figure four on one of the Usos. They wound up losing. Mizdow did. But
yeah, so there's a title change on Raw.
A title change on Raw.
Yeah.
The Usos won the belt. Naomi ran out, hugged both the Usos. They lifted her up and they yelled Uso and all that stuff. Mm. But it was a really good match. Really, really good match.
Yeah. But this is not the last time we'll see Mizdow for the evening.
That's foreshadowing, guys.
And the more I think about that later, it makes much more sense why we saw mainly Miz in this match, because of who we would mainly see in the ring.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. After that,
a lot of bullshit until.
Well, surprisingly enough, they had Rollins and Reigns
Oh yeah, that's right.
Halfway through the show.
Yeah.
And that match went on forever.
And it was weird because this whole night they've been pumping the fact that Rollins was going to be on the Edge and Christian hosted Cutting Edge Peep Show.
Cutting Edge Peep Show, yeah.
So it's odd that generally you're on the fake talk show before you have a match, not post. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of which basically is like, oh well, Rollins isn't gonna, and Big Show came out for commentary, so the match instantly took a dump from the get-go.
Yeah, he kept going. Wow.
Every minute that this match went on, we were treated to the Big Show's voice on commentary.
Wow.
And I tell you, there's just so much of that I can handle. Like, I just wanted it to be over.
And I'll tell you, Reigns has some spots, like the Superman punch and then the apron drop kick. The people were like, yeah, Reigns is boring apart from that, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's the future, but man, he needs to figure out something.
Well, it's like they've already got him locked into like a
new 5 moves of doom?
Yeah, like a small, predictable face moveset that the people can get behind because they know what's coming. But there's not enough moves there. And it's not... I guess you're looking at like Cena's like quote-unquote powerful enough.
Yeah.
And like Reigns has not been around long enough to be that... If anybody was... Ryback can't do that yet. Yet Reigns is already, And
Reigns isn't that much bigger than anybody else. I mean, he's bigger than Rollins, but he's not bigger than Ryback. He's not bigger than Cena.
No.
Probably not bigger than Orton.
And that jacket's definitely adding to our perceived notion of his size as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
His flak vest, which protects him from bullets and announce tables.
Yeah, that's true. Because Big Show threw Reigns over the announce table and then flipped it over on top of him. At which point JBL said he had a hernia. He dropped that table on his hernia-aided area. JBL's an idiot because he very clearly flipped that table on his legs. You don't get hernias in your legs. I don't think, right? I mean,
I don't
I'm not a doctor. JBL might be.
I don't know anything about the human body.
Except that Ryback has a really nasty scar on his leg, which he showed off tonight.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. He was talking about he broke his ankle in 3 places, continued to wrestle, which caused him to break the bone in his leg. And he's got to have a metal rod in there because it is a scar, huge scar from his knee all the way down to his ankle.
Yeah, he goes past his boot. You can't even see where it is.
Yeah, they had to peel him completely open to fix all that.
Something else I want to talk about that it really bothered me. Mm-hmm. They had a backstage thing where they did a little thing with Edge and Cena. And then Cena does this thing where he's like, I'm proud of you, kid. John Cena's not fucking wrestled as long as Edge. Edge has been wrestling since, like, the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. John Cena's been big for 10 years. I hate that they do this with John Cena. He's not fucking, like... He's not Bruno Sammartino. He's John Cena.
Yeah, it was a weird, like, I respect you, man, even though I hate you, but now I've learned to love you.
Yeah.
And they do it with Cena a lot. After seeing the end of the show, that was their explanation of why he did what he did, which we'll get to shortly. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, in depth, because it was insane. It's why we don't negotiate with terrorists. It was, but
that's right.
Daniel Bryan came back
and retired.
That for me was the highlight of the night. That fucker's gone. He's quit. Fucking shave your face and go home. No, just kidding. We love Daniel Bryan. He's super fucking awesome. And he's going to be back at the 2015 Royal Rumble, and he is going to win that son of a bitch. And if he doesn't, God have mercy on WWE for the wrath that will be brought upon them by the crowd.
I don't think they'll have him win it.
Yeah?
I really don't, because I don't think they learned a lesson, or I think Vince will, out of spite, audience doesn't tell me who wins stuff. I tell the audience who wins.
Yeah. So. Seth, if that's the case, Roman Reigns will feel exactly what Batista felt.
He'll feel worse than Batista.
Yeah.
I remember last year when Rey Mysterio was number 30, and everybody thought it'd be Bryan, and Rey Mysterio was almost booed out of the building.
And the thing is, people knew Bryan wasn't going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yet they still hoped for it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Rey Mysterio.
It was Rey Mysterio's big comeback.
Children's hero.
Yeah.
Booed
out of the building.
Crap time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I would like to think that Bryan would win it and then go into Mania.
And win the belt 2 years in a row. Has it ever been done? Cena, maybe?
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Hogan?
Winning the belt. Winning the belt. Not defending a belt.
Oh.
Winning the belt 2 years in a row.
Let me think on that.
Oh.
While he's thinking about that, so there's no dead air, let's talk about Bryan some more. I was worried that he was going to be setting up some type of retirement, or since he announced it kind of on Twitter about a big announcement, and it was kind of being wish-washy, I was thinking maybe it wasn't full retirement, maybe I'm going to be the GM now.
And especially if the way Raw opened with the whole highlight of the way that Edge had to retire back in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Similar issue, too.
Yeah, and they brought it up for no reason relating to Edge. So it was very much they're setting it up for Bryan.
And Bryan started talking about how his dad passed. He started to actually cry. Mm-hmm. And he made it seem like that he was done. Now, toward the end, you could tell he was trying to not smile. Mm. So he knew. But
to be fair, that fucker smiles every time he's on the microphone.
That's true. That is true. I don't know, but he said he's ready to go, I guess, now.
Yeah.
But
there was one occurrence.
Okay.
The Undertaker. He won the World Heavyweight title back-to-back years. WrestleMania 23, defeating Batista. Mm-hmm. And then WrestleMania 24, defeating Edge.
Oh, is that what led to that really good TLC match?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So there we go. So
something else that happened tonight.
Yeah.
Bad News Barrett came back. He got some bad news for Cesaro.
I didn't see that either.
My favorite wrestler in the WWE today is Bad News Barrett. Main roster, anyway. Bad News Barrett, and he came back. He looked smaller. But I mean, he didn't look smaller as in he was weak. He looked smaller as in he just leaned down a lot.
Leaned up to be able to be a little more agile in the ring, and that definitely showed in the match tonight.
Yeah. Cesaro, tonight was like rawest talky. I don't know. But Cesaro went on about how he hated everything and how all he cared about was performing in the ring. And Barrett said he had some bad news for him. And he did. He bullhammered him. It's great.
So was it back and forth at all, or was it pretty much just like a squash return for?
It was back and forth. It was back and forth. Cesaro was swinging.
Yeah.
Really did the swing.
He did the swing. Yeah. He didn't do like a bunch of rotations. He did like 2 or 3, but
still, it seemed like it's been a long time since we've seen that.
And then he did another thing where he like dropped it into like a Boston Crabber. It was kind of cool the way he did it.
Yeah.
He didn't do his uppercut or the neutralizer or anything. Yeah. And then Barrett just kind of like he kind of poked him in the eye, I think. And then he just came back and flipped his elbow pad and hit the bull hammer, and it was over. But Barrett came back and it was pretty awesome.
So I don't know what side of the fence Barrett's going to be on, because I mean Cesaro's kind of been back and forth. They recorded him at a house show with really good audio. He comes out, talks about how his music blows, basically, which makes me wonder if this talking that he did on Raw wasn't like, oh, that's going to be your character now, is you're going to talk about how you hate all this stuff because, and it's character-wise, you're not getting to say that you hate your music because it got out where somebody recorded on their phone. It wasn't like it was, it was a house show.
Well, it could be, though, because remember, we saw The New Day at the house show. Mm-hmm. It could be that that's his gimmick. Because remember, just after Mania, he didn't have music.
So. Yeah.
I mean, and he did come out with a new shirt that just says in pretty plain letters across it, "Performer."
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Tyson Kidd has one that's similar. It's this fact.
Yeah.
And there's been talk of them pairing up as the greatest tag team name ever, the Masters of the WWE Universe.
That is good. That is a good tag name.
But after that, I think you pretty much caught up as far as anything that mattered.
Yeah.
And then we saw the end of it.
Yeah, post Bryan was, which, I mean, the way it looked, Bryan came on so late that, I mean, he could have talked the entire last half hour, but he didn't. There was more. Miz and Mizdow met up with Edge and Christian in the back. Said they wanted a rematch for their titles, that it wasn't fair they lost them. Basic things that were probably reasonable requests, granted not that night. Nope. Edge and Christian say you're going to have a match, not for the titles. You don't know who your opponents are. Go out to the ring.
Well, it wasn't Edge and Christian. It was Edge and a stunt double, a puppet.
Oh, true. That's true.
Christian
stood there silently as a puppet spoke. That is right.
So Christian's now playing third fiddle to a puppet. Yeah. Or second fiddle, I guess. I don't know.
But earlier than that, and I mean it had been well known for weeks, the Ascension premiering tonight on Raw. And they do. If you're familiar with the Ascension, then you know that they're awesome. If you're not, watch some NXT. Actually, this coming Thursday, they're going to be on fighting Finn Balor and Tommy. That might not be the best one to watch because I feel like they're going to get their ass kicked again. But normally, these guys were super dominant. Like, we're talking CM Punk level days with tag belts. Like, they had the belts for
almost a year, right?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Very dominant, strong, like, team finisher. I don't know. They come on Raw. They've built them to be a little more like, I guess, more like the Road Warriors were. They've got like the leather shoulder pads and stuff, not the spikes, but the same type of deal. They got some face paint on, these weird red pizza slices on their foreheads.
Horses.
Yeah. Their entrance, there's a few things I feel like they could fix with their entrance and make them better. One is you have them come out of the floor like Gangrel and the Brood used to, or even Mysterio. Having them come out and pose and then making the camera pan up to appear like they're coming out of the floor, it only works as good as your cameraman is doing it, and for the people in the crowd, they're just coming out there and sitting. Like it's not very imposing. Also, the house lights are up during their entrance and post after a match. in the NXT arena, it's darker. You've got the strobe lights. It's just more intimidating for them because these guys. I mean, I'm not ragging on them. Like, they're really good. They're really imposing. They're just not. It's not like they're two big shows. You know, they're not that huge of guys. So when they're just standing there without the fanfare, it takes away from them somewhat.
Now, Connor's pretty big. He's probably maybe like Kane sized. I don't know. He was bigger. He was definitely bigger than everybody in the ring.
Yeah.
That's Sandow, Miz, and everybody. He's not like a big super cut guy. He's kind of a big, like farm strong type dude where he looks like he could lift up a barrel and throw it or something, you know. But Victor's smaller. But I feel like they just want to come in and wreck house, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the makeup, it might just go away.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about them. I memean, Twitter, it seemed like everybody was on it, you know. The Ascension will rise, you know, hashtag everything was going good. I feel like, to me, they're awesome. And their stuff was good, but could be tweaked a little bit, and they should be great. But I felt the same way about Tensai.
Yeah.
And that turned south really fast.
Well, in fairness, Tensai didn't get paired with a lot of people who worked well with Tensai. Mm. So, I think the Ascension is going to be like your traditional 80s Road Warriors. We come in, we kick your ass, and that's it. We leave. Maybe they could do it with a manager.
Yeah. I think that would actually be a big bonus.
Yeah. James Mitchell would be a great manager for him. Or even Cyrus. We mentioned Cyrus earlier in the podcast. He'd be good too if he still does wrestling. But
Sonny.
LOD 3000?
Yep. There you go. Should get him some hockey helmets. Get to it.
That was horrible. I put Animal with him. There you go.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Ascension basically squashed the Miz and Mizdow. Mizdow took the brunt of it mostly, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time?
Yeah.
Mizdow took the fall, and I'm not even really sure if there was actually a tag in the match.
No, Miz started the match and immediately tagged out.
Immediately tagged
out. And then was pretty much just done. Which, that made sense, because Miz did have like a 10-minute match beforehand, but he pretty much carried the match. So,
so the Ascension were victorious. I think if people didn't know them from NXT, I don't think they're going to be as impressed with them as we are. But, I mean, you know, the proof is in the pudding. If they're ready to come up to the main roster, then they need to be able to prove to people who don't know who they are that they are worthy of being up there. Yeah. And I think the WWE will make them look strong. Any mistakes they made on this, like, as far as just piddly camera and stuff, I mean, I think they'll fix all that.
Yeah, and they're in a dangerous spot right now where they could be too gimmicky. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure they'll, you know, balance it out to where, you know, they don't make them into cartoon characters or anything, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, plus if you look at the tag division right now, you've got Los Matadores who wear masks and have a bull with them. Mm-hmm. You've got Stardust and Goldust, face paint. The Usos, face paint.
Yeah.
You know, like it. Really, Miz and Mizdow are the least gimmicky of the tag teams right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How fucked up is that?
Well, you got Slater Gator.
Do you?
Kinda.
Are they still a thing?
I think so. They were the one of the breakout stars of the year. The surprise breakouts. I saw that earlier today. It was top 10 breakout, unexpected breakout stars. Yeah. And Slater Gator was one of them.
Well,
I mean, and then Darren Young ever comes back, put him in a tag team with somebody, put primetime players back together. That was really good.
I think that's what they should do.
Yeah.
They good music.
For me, one of the biggest things for the Ascension is going to be whether or not we get Vince's vision or do we get Triple H's vision for them.
That's a good point.
Because we're seeing more and more that's what's coming down to on this next generation of talent. Who's going to wind up getting their voice in?
Yeah, and it might be one of those things where Triple H may have to give a little bit with the Ascension, so that way when he brings up like Neville or Sami Zayn or somebody, he doesn't want to put Neville in a Mighty Mouse costume.
I think that ship's probably sailed. I think he's lost that battle.
Well, I know,
but I don't know. We'll see.
Or have Kevin Owens come up and all of a sudden he's the fucking panda bear or some shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, eventually, you know, it'd be one of those where H just gets to pick, but yeah, right now, because I would almost think that if Triple H was bringing them up, and I mean, we don't even know. None of us know any of this, but like, just guesswork. If Triple H was bringing them up from NXT, leave them as is. They changed the Tron, made it cooler. It's very Illuminati-esque for some reason. Like even way more so than like they were with their like loincloth designs and stuff.
They still have the loincloth,
NXT.
kind of.
Yeah. But the symbol's there with the pyramid and the eye and all that, but it's like way more prevalent in their Titantron now. But then they have the addition of, and the music is the same as NXT.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they have the addition of the face paint and the shoulder paint. And you know what? I mean, them coming up to main roster, they may have wanted that. They may have been like, we need something cooler to add to this, you know?
That's true.
So.
And they always had a weird gimmick anyway, because I think they started out with like a werewolf and a vampire. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of just let it go, and they were just the Ascension, and it didn't make sense, really, and it kind of did. They just beat people's ass. I don't know.
And now they're patrolling the wasteland.
Yeah, they do bring that up a lot, the Wasteland. Enter the Wasteland, welcome to the Wasteland, follow man, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just assuming they are the muscle for the Illuminati who are going to bring about the Wasteland. Really, if anybody's in the Illuminati, it's Vince McMahon.
So, Vince McMahon, Tony Stark, Bill Gates.
Tony Stark's not a real character.
That's what they want you to think. They got to you too.
Believe it or not, after all of this Ascension stuff, there's still more. I mean, the Bryan thing, the Ascension match, all this is the last half hour of Raw.
Well, to be fair, the Ascension match lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, but then still, you got the Daniel Bryan thing, the Ascension's debut, and then the Cutting Edge Peep Show with Seth Rollins, which throughout the night has also become some type of champagne after party that he's invited John Cena to.
And Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
He invited Brock Lesnar.
And Brock Lesnar.
He is feel overjoyed.
Yeah.
Gotta lubricate the virgin neck.
That's right.
Now, I will say, the setup for this is genius writing. Like, the whole Cutting Edge Peep Show, everything Rollins does, I thought that for all the crap that WWE gets for, their writers don't know how to do anything, it calls back to Survivor Series.
Oh, you're talking about the payoff.
Yeah, the payoff.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the genius writing of them sitting on the stools, because that was horrible.
They were not stools.
Huh?
They were not stools, though. Decent stools.
Yeah, they were decent stools, but I mean, the them just basically like ragging on Seth Rollins and him saying, "You guys were my heroes," and them going, "That's lame, that's horrible," and he really wasn't saying it in a cynical way at all.
I think it's because of the way he talks. But they said that it was lame, that they reeked of awesomeness and all that crap. Yeah. But the payoff was genius.
Mm-hmm. Tell them about the payoff.
Well, what happened is, John Cena won't come out. The Big Show comes out, but then John Cena won't. And then...
So he keeps calling him out, and then he's like, well, you forced my hand. I want something from you. So he does it again. He's like, come out here, Cena. And then he hits Christian in the gut with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
He hits Christian in the gut so hard that he is jerked into another dimension, and you don't see him again.
Yeah, that's true. Christian goes down, and then Edge shoves Rollins. And we're like, oh shit. Something's going to happen to Edge. And sure enough, they take Edge. Edge is probably scared to death because, I mean, you hit him the wrong way, he's done.
Yeah.
And they get him down on the briefcase. Big Show's got him. Pins him down there, his head on the briefcase. Rollins has got his foot on his neck. And was like, either you come out here right now, Cena, or I'm going to paralyze him.
He has a wife and kid.
That's right. He was like, I will kill him.
Well, he just said that first, but yeah, he just said kill him.
So Cena comes out, and he was like, you're going to give me what I want. And
then Cena takes his shirt off.
He does, with that weird... It's the one-armed quick shirt release that Cena is known for, but he did it like slow, like, I'm not making a move. I'm just going to take this shirt off.
And then he kept on like approaching the ring and back up. And so he back up. And then he approached the ring and back up.
He's like, don't test me, John. Don't test me.
I'm a crazy madman.
Yeah. And what does he want from John Cena? He wants him to reinstate the authority.
And Rollins is about to do it on edge. He's about to slam his foot and paralyze him. And Cena's like, okay. So Rollins is like, what did you say? And so he sends Mercury out, Noble, to come out there with the mic. And Cena just whispers in there, I'll reinstate the authority.
Yeah, so it's just like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, and then Ron's like, what did you say? Say it again. And then he's like, fine, I'll reinstate the authority.
His veins are bulging.
And they're all celebrating and everything. And Ron gets on the mic again. He's like, John, you should know me better. I'm going to kill him anyway.
Yeah, that's right. John, you should know me better. I'm going to kill him anyway. Because murder, as everyone knows, is what Rollins does on PG WWE television.
Yeah. I didn't see Ambrose this week. He might have killed him.
You never know. And then Cena hits the ring, though. Gets Edge free. Edge is out on the outside. And Big Show attacks Cena, gets him down, and then see a curb stomp. So Cena's laying in the middle of the ring. Rollins and J&J and Big Show, they're walking up, and then out comes Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And they're standing up there, and Heyman and Rollins shake hands, and I'm thinking, okay, Lesnar's going down there and kill Cena. He doesn't. He just stands up there with him, and they're all celebrating, happy as can be. Then we hear, Behold the King.
Yeah. And out comes Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Well, they went in the back, like, sweeping floors.
With wine glasses in hand. No. They weren't supposed to be anywhere. They were... Oh, and they came out so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, they were obviously, like, in gorilla, just waiting to walk out. So what you're led to believe is that Triple H and Stephanie were just, like, outside smoking, hanging out by the dumpsters, waiting to hear, you got your job back.
Yeah.
Get in here and get some
Which
champagne.
Originally, like, JB Dillon was talking about, like, 2015, they're going to be in charge. Like, they're going to be on there next week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
And then now here they come, and they're all drinking champagne and happy as can be.
Making out.
Yeah. And,
And apparently, Brock and Heyman are part of the authority now. Because they're up there, like, cheering with them. Shaking hands,
I mean, it's
slapping ass.
Yeah.
Either that or they're just happy seeing them get destroyed.
I guess. I feel like Heyman and Lesnar shouldn't care who is in charge.
Except maybe the authority comes with dental benefits.
That could be true.
Maybe.
Sure.
And
Brock needs some braces.
Brock needs some virgin necks, too. So maybe that's... I don't know.
But, yeah, it was a Raw. I mean...
What a bad one.
The thing is, it was a bad one.
Well...
It's just... It had legitimately important things happen during the Raw.
Yeah.
But everything leading up to those things and after those things sucked. Like you said, it was a very talky Raw.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a poor wrestling match that had some cool spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a good call line. I mean, it had the tag team title change.
Yeah.
It had Daniel Bryan announcing the Rumble. It had the reinstating of the Authority, which is the big thing, and it had the premiere of the Ascension. You had all these things spaced out, and plus the return of Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
You had all these things spaced out, but it was very much a bunch of rest holds in between.
Yeah, that's true. And Ryback monologues.
Yeah, that, which I don't even know if I hate that or not. I don't even know what to feel. It's the secret. The secret's out. Ryback can fucking hold us hypnotically somehow, and we can't shit on the things he says.
Speaking of dental, he has like the weirdest mouth. Like his teeth, they're like fangs. Mm-hmm. But then his front teeth are like flat chipmunk teeth. It's the weirdest, like...
It's the reverse Summer Rae is what he has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the weirdest.
Whose front teeth are sucked up into her head. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's a cool guy. I'm sure he'd kick my ass, but...
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind right now.
You know I didn't know.
Hey. We'll get a hold of him.
Right back. If you want to get my ass on the podcast, come do it. Ratings. Yeah, I guess. I thought that the payoff for the cutting edge peep show thing was genius.
Yeah.
Because it called back to stuff that's happened.
I didn't expect it at all.
No, and we were just talking about how we went Triple H back for Sting. Well, now we know how. He's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it figured that he might try to come back as like, I'm going to come back and wrestle part-time to weasel his way back in or some loophole.
Well, like when I beat Sting, I'm back, yeah.
They just fucking... John Cena gave in to terroristic demands, and there you go.
Which is why John Cena would never beat Rusev.
Maybe North Korea was behind that whole cutting-edge segment.
They did do a thing where Edge made fun of the peep show about it being a thing that people would watch for a nickel. And Christian's like, yeah, that's kind of the point. And Edge is just like, that's horrible. I feel like it was a wasted... I don't know what you do with Edge and Christian anymore. Put them on commentary. There you go. That's what you do with them. Put them on commentary on like SmackDown. That's what you do with Edge and Christian. Do not have them host... Because they
have them host this stuff on the network too, and man, it just falls flat.
It falls flat because the chemistry... I guess it's there, but they're just so dated, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like two guys, which basically is what it is. It's two guys who hung out a lot, get back together after years, and then try to make the same jokes. But they've both moved on. Well, one of them has moved on. Enough to where it just doesn't... It is weird. You can tell they're forcing it.
Yeah, it is weird, too, to see that Edge is naturally blonde. And Christian is, too, but Christian's bleach blonde. So it's like Christian's head's yellow.
Well, he's also got that orange skin underneath it, too. So it's like, he's working on some Hogan hot dog skin.
Christian hasn't moved on from being Edge and Christian.
Yeah. But to be fair, Christian probably still wants to wrestle. And being held out because of concussions, I would think that would be hard to handle.
Yeah.
Your neck's going to snap and you're going to die if you wrestle. Compared to, here you're if your head bounces off a thing we can't quantify with tests, like you can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah, it's like the Corey Graves thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey Graves, when he said he had to retire, was very emotional about it because he never even made it to Raw.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had tons of years left.
Yeah. And Christian was going to be a trainer down in NXT. I don't know if we can do that now. I mean, if he takes a bump wrong in training, he who knows what he can do. I guess just be a personality on the network. No one wants to be put past you that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Not Macho Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, at one time, Christian left. Became his most successful he's ever been. TNA World Champion.
Christian has some parallels there to Randy Savage.
Yeah, Christian Cage was... Yeah, I mean, that's where... But at the same time, Christian left because of stuff and then became the best version of himself at the other place and then came back.
That's true.
Macho Man was the best version of himself in WWE.
Yeah. He was like a marketing shield, basically, in WCW. Yeah. Christian was more important to TNA than what Macho was at WCW.
That's true.
I will say that.
That's true. He was more of a get to get him type of thing in WCW. When Christian became, he's our flagship guy right off the bat. Christian,
and rightfully
Cage,
so. I mean, he was legitimately like the top guy there. Yeah. I don't know, but that has nothing to do with Raw.
That's true. It doesn't. Which I don't know what that says about this Raw that we just talked about. Christian being TNA champ for a while.
I will say, I hate... They did it again tonight, I think. I hate when a commentary team doesn't say anything. It's like JR... We talked about earlier, the great commentary teams. They always... that's what makes it so memorable. Like, good God Almighty, he's broken in half. Now, if that happened now, what would happen is they'd all stand up and just watch. And there'd be no...
Yeah, because they're like, man, we got to try to stick in an app shield here shortly. Like,
yeah.
Got to fit this in.
This is real. We can't talk about this. It's dumb. This is wrestling. You're part of the presentation. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, they don't build the drama up as much.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, they're too busy talking about stuff they have to talk about and filling time and putting stuff over in later segments or earlier segments, and it's an odd situation.
And the WWE app.
Yeah.
Yeah. They laid off of that for a while. I'll give them that. But the last couple weeks, that app has been pretty fucking I guess maybe the network's doing okay, so they can lay off it a little.
And what's the point of the fucking app? whenever the whole point of the app is you watch what's going on during the commercial. I don't know what it does during the actual show. I guess it doesn't do anything. But during the commercials,
shows like the Twitter feed.
Okay, well during the commercials,
it has little polls if they're going to do a match vote in the night.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It'll show like a picture to be like this day in history and shit that you shouldn't be looking at while you're watching fucking Raw.
Yeah.
But when you come back from commercial, they'll show you what fucking happened anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Plus, the app is free. I don't know, and that's the big thing. The app is free.
yeah.
Millions of people have it. Fucking let it populate itself. Why do you have to promote something? Well, I say that, and you know, our podcast is free and we promote it. But this thing is it's already proven success.
Yeah.
Like, fucking people are going to download it. You don't have to even fucking tell them about it.
And the only time the fucking app even mattered was the one time Rusev beat somebody on it. Like, he won a match on the app, and he came back and he was celebrating.
Yeah. Which was probably an accident.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody missed a spot or something, and that's what happened. Still didn't happen on Raw, though, so.
No.
I mean, the app stuff did.
Yeah. So, to recap, we had tag team title change. The Usos are now the tag team champions. And pretty soon, they'll probably have to compete with the debut of the Ascension that happened also on Raw. We had Daniel Bryan announcing that he is going to be in the Rumble in 2015. We all hope he fucking wins. Don't let us down. And the Authority are back in power. Also, Bad News Barrett returned. We expected another return. We didn't get to see it. Other people got to see it. We'll get to that later. But that is it for Keeping It Raw.
You want to buy some death sticks?
The word on Badstreet.
You like lies and gossip, bullshit, and things people just make up for no goddamn reason? Well, then you're going to love The Word on Badstreet, where we cover all of the, well, not really all, fuck that, there's so many wrestling rumors. We cover some of the best wrestling rumors, for good or bad, because, I mean, it almost makes you feel dirty. It almost makes you feel dirty talking about this garbage sometimes. But we rate them on a shit scale from 1 to 10. 10 being the shittiest, meaning that they are the most untrue. 1 being a little bit of shit is on them, so they're probably going to happen. Durbin's going to kick this off for us, and what have you got for us this week?
All right. Going to start off with one that seemed pretty interesting in the research, and that is there are some claiming, and this rumor, just to give you a little bit of a background from the rumor, is coming from the Reddit subforum of Squared Circle. It's where a bunch of different people get together, talk wrestling, rumors, facts, myths, different things. And they say at the recent house show that Randy Orton sort of made his reappearance, his re-debut at a house show level, there might have been a bit of a minor re-injury at this house show.
I'm going to give that immediately. We've already been discussing it. I'm going to give that a 10 on the shit scale. As in, that is completely false. Because Randy Orton was never injured in the first place.
Yeah. This is like one of those things where if he was, he was on Raw after Raw went off the air tonight. Mm-hmm. So it's obviously not that bad.
Yep, it was reported that he came on to Raw after the air, RKO'd Seth Rollins, and then the
Stooges, JJ Security.
Yeah, and JJ Security. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a 10.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're playing off the storyline injury, which he actually left to do a movie, and then probably at the house show playing up the injury again just for the crowd. It's just one of those things that they took for granted.
Or it could be WWE's way of finding a way to keep him off TV till they're ready for his return.
Mm-hmm. Could be that too. I mean, in fairness, he has not been on TV in a while. Maybe he did land on his arm and it went numb for him. You know, I mean, anything.
Yeah, I mean, there could have been some ring rust there. Yeah. But, well, we're going to give that one a 10 on the shit scale.
Right.
Durbin, what do you got for us next?
10 on the shit scale. All right. Next up. So, this has been reported from 2 different sites, both fan-sided and their source of Wrestling Observer newsletter, and that is there's now apparently some backstage talk that the first match the Vigilante Sting will see in a WWE ring might come sooner than we think, and it might be against Seth Rollins.
That's weird. I don't know what to think about that.
I could buy it. If Sting is this vigilante who's going out against the Authority, well, you're not just going to go straight for Triple H.
It does make more sense now that the Authority's back. Like if he's going to
Yeah.
dismantle them one by one.
Yeah, which, well, I mean, that means he'd have to go through...
Possibly Corporate Kane.
I mean, come on. Corporate Kane hasn't won anything.
Corporate Kane is going to be strapping those slacks on next week. You wait and see. Because he's got his full title back.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he won't be back. I'm just saying I feel like Corporate Kane's a foregone defeat right now. But yeah, beat the Golden Boy. Beat up Seth Rollins. If you want... I mean, it's like what Rollins did tonight with Edge. If Triple H won't fight me, I'll take out your protege.
Or, another way about it could be Triple H is upset about Sting, and Rollins is like, I'll take him out.
Yeah.
I'm the future. He's the past. He's some old guy. Like
That could work. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 on the shit scale.
4 on the shit scale, pretty low. What do you think, Hoagie?
I'm gonna go a 5 because I could see it and I also couldn't see it. Because it would make sense if they are going to do Triple M and Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see WWE not letting him wrestle until Mania.
I can see it too. It's also a risk of not letting him wrestle because there's
Be over a year.
a chance of not getting back into the swing of things.
That's true.
A couple other things you gotta look at is this possibility that Rollins leaves Rumble with the belt, and if he doesn't, when do they fight? I mean, you got Fastlane. I guess that could be when they fight, but there's not a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. If sometimes Ron did win the belt, they're not going to have Sting fight him for the title.
No.
Or have him fight at the Rumble. Keep Rollins out of the Royal Rumble match. If he is going to do the cash-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have him fight earlier in the night.
Yeah.
And if he gets destroyed by Sting, it makes people think less likely about him cashing in at the end of the night.
That's true.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3 because I can really see it happening. But that 3 only happens till Rumble. Post-Rumble,
Yeah. If it doesn't happen by Rumble, it's not going to happen. Or if there's not some inclination that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
All right.
So I think that averaged about a 4.
Yeah.
A 4 on the shit scale for that one.
Right about there. So, next up. Right now, we're hearing some backstage talks that if and when Reigns gets the belt, they're going to give Reigns a title reign that will outlast CM Punk's reign to break that record.
I give it a 1, as that's something WWE would want to do. I give it a 10 that it'll happen.
Yeah, it won't happen with Reigns.
He will not be popular enough to keep it that long.
No. But it will happen. Somebody will hold that damn belt. It'll probably be Rollins.
Or Cena gets it back for the 16th time.
Or, honestly, Ziggler. Because they could do things with Ziggler like they did with Punk.
They could. They don't really have a new Bryan.
Bryan, that's the thing. Bryan's got it coming.
Yeah.
Bryan never lost the belt. The crowds will not... when he's back, the crowds will not accept someone else having that belt and him not having the belt. Especially now their face. Like, they're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have to turn Reigns evil.
Yeah.
Like, completely evil.
And I tell you something else. CM Punk got the whole best in the world thing from Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, like, is the total package as far as the guys from Ring of Honor and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think he's the guy who should get it. But it won't be Reigns. It'll be 10 on it being Reigns. 1 on it happening, though.
Yeah.
And soon-ish, anyway.
Yeah. I truly... Yeah. Reigns is going to get the belt. So we're going to say that's each end of the spectrum. So I guess it technically gets We're giving it's a 50-50.
We essentially took the shit and split it into two piles on this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's one tiny pile of shit and one giant pile of shit.
It's like,
but Roman Reigns is under both of them.
it's like we thought we were done. We got up, but well, not yet.
One is solid and one is liquid.
Some nuts, man.
All right. Going back to someone that got brought up in that last discussion, there are now some speculations. I know we had the Bryan announcement tonight that he's going to be in the Rumble, and we've spoke about that tonight. But there are some speculations, and this was published pre-tonight's Raw, that Ziggler is being groomed to be this year's Rumble winner.
No. I think that's what the internet would like. Well, until Bryan said he was going to be in it tonight.
Yeah.
But you can't have a guy who the fans want to see succeed. You make them think he's going to succeed, and then you crap on him every time. You can't have him be getting put in the accolade and just destroyed and then having to be saved by Ryback and then be like, this guy's going to be your guy, you know?
So what are you giving it?
God. The sad thing is I can still see it happening. But it's not going to happen this year. It's a 1. Or not a 1, a 10. There's no way it's happening.
I could see the WWE thinking that Ziggler winning the Rumble is the split between the fans not accepting Reigns and demanding Daniel Bryan, yeah, sorry. I could see them doing that. So I'm going to give it like a 6.
I could see him doing it.
Just because.
But I feel like, oh, man.
Because I feel like they're not going to let the fans dictate their main event 2 years. If Vince can help it, he's going to let it happen. I mean,
not 2 years in a row. It happened. It happened last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't plan for it. I think the original plan was Batista and Orton.
Yeah.
And it went to shit for them.
Shit on them. Yep. So I don't think that they will, unless there's nothing else they can do about it, let it happen 2 years in a row. But I think that Vince will think that that's giving enough. No, I don't think Dolph's win the title at Mania. That's not happening. So somebody else will be in that match to win that title.
But you are giving him a chance of winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, almost as good a chance as Bryan, I think. Like, if it was odds, I think that Dolph would have maybe a little bit better odds because he's been on a little quiet push. He was the sole survivor of the team. He got his belt back right away, and they started like making him a thing again. So I could see it happening, and then nothing coming of it. Like he gets to Mania, he doesn't win the match, and then people forget about him again, or he gets hurt, or any other 1,000 things that could happen.
There's also a chance that he defends his belt at Rumble and never even put him in the match in the first place.
That's true too. I
mean, I imagine that'll get defended.
I think it's 2 though. I mean, Harper should get a rematch, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm gonna give it a 5 because I've seen this online, people talking about this, and I've thought of different scenarios where it could work. Where, like, if Brock keeps his belt till Mania, they're pitting Ziggler in these impossible situations, and he's managing to overcome them. Probably the biggest thing he could overcome would be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but he couldn't overcome Rusev.
That's true.
Yeah.
They've built Brock Lesnar. They've built him more than The Undertaker as being this monster. Like, they almost have to give it to Reigns because they have no other guys that look like they could even fight him.
Cena.
Yeah, and he's going to be fighting for the 3rd time at Rumble.
Or if H decided he won the belt.
Cena, I almost feel like Cena has to beat him because they don't have anybody else that will look legitimate like they want to beat him, or that people want to see and not vomit like Big Show.
Yeah. Like, I could see Rusev maybe beating him, but that would take so much convolution. But I mean, that would be a person that could do it.
Yeah.
But
there's one other person, maybe Orton.
I could see Orton doing it.
Orton, can possibly do it
because Orton would hit him fast enough, like in storyline.
And if Orton comes back as this, Of course, we all know he hates Rollins and his ginger security, but if he comes back as full anti-authority,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, well, we can't shut down Orton. We got to put somebody big on him or whatever, you know. But
Brock Lesnar on him. I don't know.
yeah.
So I give it like a 8. You gave it. I don't know. It probably won't happen with mine.
Yeah, I give it 10. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I can see how it could happen. And while WWE's not always predictable, this year it's between two guys. I think winning that. And it's going to be one. It's going to be Reigns or Bryan, and sadly, it's probably Reigns.
But it's one of those you want to believe in because.
And then it'll become triple threat again because people freak the fuck out.
But like last year, everybody knew Batista was going to show up. Well, it's like everybody knew The Rock was going to beat CM Punk, and then everybody knew that freaking Batista was going to win that Rumble. And it's not fun when you know what's going to happen, so people have to speculate.
Yeah, and they had it at 40-man, and now it's back to 30-man.
Yeah, because we're going to do
So
ECW thing.
all the fun surprises gone.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be an ECW thing because it's in Philadelphia, but not no more.
Yeah. So I don't know. Of course, that could also be a time thing. Those
Could be.
10 less guys means you've got more time for the other events.
Yeah, and also for the end of it, whenever because they'll come in like 2 or 3 guys, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's,
Well, they could have canceled those last 10 guys because we're having a Sting match. You know.
That would be awesome.
I would trade 10 ECW guys for Sting match.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what we got next?
All right. So, on that one, just letting you know, that one averaged out to be an 8 overall for your all's combined score.
My 10 pulled it towards the giant shit pile of nothing.
But next up, we have, I'm just going to skip around a little bit on my list, and that is, since we're on the topic of WrestleMania, there's now discussions that Jericho is going to miss WrestleMania entirely.
Say why? Is there a
I think Fozzie's
Fozzy
on tour. I think
thing?
Fozzie goes on tour.
Yeah.
Cause, man, I feel like Jericho would not want to miss Mania. But at the same time, there's nothing for him. Unless he's going to be around for build-up for it. I mean, Rumble I could see him hitting. Because Rumble, you could just show up the day of and be like, I'm going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Mania, you got to build for.
There was talk of him doing a Rollins thing.
Oh.
Which would be good matches.
It would, but I'd rather not see it, I guess. I mean, you know.
Not WrestleMania.
It doesn't. When Jericho comes back, it's like I love seeing RVD too. Jericho is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, but it's one of those things. When he comes back now, you know, it's not any type of permanent storyline sticking around. So I mean, it's there and it's something, but he's not really a part timer. But kind of.
He's coming back to make somebody look good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I could see that. I could see him missing Mania. I'll give that a 3 because it's, he is good at surprises though, so that's why I'm not giving it a 1. He's good at just randomly showing the fuck up and people not knowing that he's going to be there. He somehow manages to pull that off.
He trolls the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
I could see it happen. I could see him not doing it because it's nothing for him. I'm gonna give it 3. I mean, if they come up with something between now and Rumble, then yeah, he'll be there. But
I'm going to give it a 6 just because of something I actually read earlier today. That Vince is really trying to talk him into doing something for it.
Okay. So you're basing your number on a rumor from another rumor.
Yes.
This is like Inception of rumors.
yo, dog, I heard you like rumors.
So, we had a 3, and a 6. Combine those up.
It's like a 4.5? 4?
A 4?
4.
Yeah.
We'll make it around 4.
Yeah.
You don't have half a shit.
Yeah. You can pinch it off midway. I mean, it's not.
You're supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But it can be done.
Bad for that colon, man.
It's not impossible.
Sometimes
you're in a situation at a truck stop, the door's open, you don't know what's going on. You gotta get out of there.
You've been in a lot of situations at truck stops.
I've been in a lot of situations at truck stops, and all of them have been clean. Well, if by clean you mean dirty, yes. Then they have all been dirty. All right, what we got next?
Coming up next, I'm going to actually, because it's 2 rumors, same person, so I'm going to combine them together so that way we can keep with this same person. 2 things coming out. 1, Batista is apparently asking for a quote-unquote farewell match. He is apparently asking to come back for a farewell match. And this is something, according to the rumor, is initiated on his side, and we haven't really heard anything back on the other side.
Okay.
Second one, is that he's also upset with how the WWE has used Titus O'Neil. Apparently they're friends.
Yeah.
And so he's apparently just really upset and been vocal about how they've used him and think they've misused.
Okay. It's a 1 on the he's upset about Titus O'Neil. They are buddies. Yeah. They have used Titus O'Neil shitty. But who gives a shit if he cares if they... Yeah, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, WWE doesn't gonna care if Batista's mad that they don't treat his friend the way they want.
Yeah.
Fuck it, that's on Titus O'Neil. The farewell match, though, that's interesting. Because I've heard that before, and that he was wanting to face Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah. Which... I hope they do for him, but not this year, because I want to see Sting. Batista, I mean, this movie stuff's been a big hit for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting more roles. Of course, he's going to be doing the Guardians sequel later, but he's doing other stuff in between. He's a busy guy. He's going to... If he keeps it up, I mean, that's the thing. He's not like the leading actor, but as far as a group casting, he's a solid choice for especially these superhero type movies.
Yeah.
And the fact that one of his first movies is a Marvel movie. I mean, yeah, The Rock's been in tons of movies, but fucking A, Guardians of the Galaxy made like $1 billion damn dollars. Like, it. So, a farewell match is great because that means he's willing to come back and put it on the line one more time. He's got to do it soon, though, because these movie companies, like The Rock, will not want to insure him for these films if he's putting his body in danger.
That's true. And he's older, too.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's buddies with Triple H. It's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen at WrestleMania. I think he'll probably get Triple H at that SummerSlam. Be my guess. As far as the Titus O'Neil thing, that's a 1, too. Because I feel like Batista sort of works in the whole, like, if we're buddies, you should kind of help me out. So I think by proxy, he thinks that Titus O'Neil should be helped out. Whether or not he's justified in that thinking or not, I don't know. And whether or not Titus O'Neil has been misused, well, he has been. Titus O'Neil's better on the mic than what they give him credit for, and he's
nice, hilarious.
Yeah, he's a better performer than what he gets credit for too.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, you could do something with him. That's not what the rumor's about, though. So I would give it a 1 on both of them. That's entirely what he will get his farewell match. It won't be at Mania though. Yeah. I think it'll be at SummerSlam, or it'll be at next year's Mania. But I think that's maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 1s on both. I think he wants the farewell match, and I do believe he's probably pissed about his buddy.
Yeah, I agree, but 1s on both.
All right, so it looks like we have 1s all around. So it looks like this might be the cleanest rumor of the day so far.
The cleanest shit that has been shat so far.
It's like if you thought you had to go like shit, but you didn't. That's what this is.
Yeah. Except with a little more relief with it.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
All right. And I think we got time for about 1 more of these.
All right. That's great because I have exactly 1 more left.
Good thought.
So, right now, according to the rumors, we could be looking at some potential heat over the WWE Divas, or at least a portion of them, being in possible violation of the wellness policy due to the fact that on Total Divas, they were filmed in one of the episodes apparently to have been eating pot brownies.
How long ago was that episode recorded?
Matt, Hoagie, do either of you know how long ago that episode was?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
I read something about it, but I don't remember how long ago.
I do know a lot of. I know it's filmed more recent, I think, than like a regular television show. I mean, it's a little more current.
Maybe that explains what Abellas were so weird about a month ago.
Possibly.
They got a bad batch.
But would this also be one of those times where I feel like so much of that show is scripted that it's like, here are quote unquote pot brownies that you guys are going to eat and then act
like you're stoned, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mainly the article was just talking a little bit about the idea of is this going to cause any conflict of interest in future wellness violations, double standard type things?
I think it should. I think absolutely. Even if it's fake pot brownies, which it probably is, it's bullshit. Because they put forth that we have this wellness policy and we're against all this stuff. Oh, but our divas can do it on their little reality show.
Yeah, unless there is part of that show, one of them getting busted out and showing the consequences, yeah.
Or what if, like the brownies, for instance, when they first eat them, they don't know that they're pot brownies.
I guess,
and then somebody comes up and tells them.
I guess that works, but if that's the case, I think it shouldn't have been on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think it's irresponsible.
Maybe. They eat the pot brownies, and they're not even pot brownies at all. They're meth brownies. It's a total different ball game.
That
the fuck's a meth brownie?
I don't know. This is one of those rumors that I'm gonna give it a 5, as in a nonchalant. I don't give a shit. Here's a 5.
Yeah, ultimately, nothing that happens to Total Divas matters, I don't think. Or it shouldn't. But it's part of the company. These performers are part of the company. So if they're promoting pot brownies, fake or not, it's bullshit. I don't know. I didn't want to talk about it because it's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, there are places where it's legal to have them. So, like, conceivably, if they're legal in the city you're in, then it shouldn't be a big thing. But
it's still a role model thing, though.
And it is part of their wellness policy for their corporation. So it's like, if they say no marijuana, however dumb I might think that is, considering the slap on the wrist they give for stuff that I think is way worse. Yeah. Like, I don't know, DUI. But I don't know. It's whatever. What do you say, Hoagie?
I give it a 5 also. I can see it going a lot of different ways. It depends also who it is that ate them. The Bellas, they're probably not going to get punished. But like someone like Rosa or
Rosa will get fired.
Paige. Maybe that's why Paige doesn't go after the title anymore. Because she ate pot brownies.
I think what we're doing is we're making everyone want to tune into Total Divas to see what happens.
Yes. Instead, you need to watch the New Japan pay-per-view.
That's what you guys are doing. I refuse to comment on it because it's bullshit.
All right. So, is that it for this week?
That's it for this week. First run of the shit scale, and I have to say, it's been a pretty good first run.
It's shit-tacular?
So is the shit scale floating one way or the other on for this week's rumors? Does it seem like there's more shit than non-shit?
Well, let's see. 1, 2. Well, sort of 2. We divided that one. 1, 2. I guess 3 of the rumors of the 7 rumors we had today sort of lean definitely towards the shit side, and the rest of them either stayed about in the middle or they're yeah, that's most likely going to happen.
Bro, it looks like a lot of this shit is probably going to happen.
Well, behind any rumor, there's at least a little bit of fact, so.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's it for this week's Word on Badstreet.
The big finish.
Well, that's Developmental Talent for this week. Pretty good show, I think. Not too bad. Nobody died this time around. Came close. Matt was almost slaughtered during the figure 5, but we stayed our hand like adults. Big things coming up this week. This Sunday night, a bunch of us here at Developmental Talent will be attending Ring of Honor in Nashville, Tennessee for some TV tapings. The big thing will be Christopher Daniels versus Alberto get tongue-tied on this.
El Patron.
Alberto El Patron. I just want to say Del Rio. I want to say Del Rio all the time, but it's not Del Rio.
No.
Christopher Daniels versus Alberto Del Patron. It'll be the main event, or the main match. I'm not sure how it's going to be laid out because it'll be various TV tapings, but there's a lot of good stuff going on. On Sunday will be the very first pay-per-view put on by Global Force Wrestling and associated with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 9. We're really looking forward to this. We're going to watch the pay-per-view. I mean, the tag match was one of the first things on the card. It's so amazing that Hoagie, tell them who's in the tag match.
Okay, this is going to be for the IWGP Junior Tag Belts. It is Red Dragon, who are also the Ring of Honor World Tag Belt Champions.
Yes, they are.
Forever Hooligans, the Time Splitters, and the Young Bucks.
That's the first match.
That's the first match.
Holy fuck.
There's 4 hours of this that's going to be on.
4 hours.
4 hours. And not all providers are going to be doing this, but some are. You can watch it live at 2 a.m. in the morning. So you can go out and have a night of drinking, come home, and watch wrestling for 4 hours.
Not after midnight you can't, because the only thing open after midnight is legs in the emergency room.
And apparently New Japan.
Oh, well, there you go.
But everyone else will probably be on at 7 o'clock Sunday night.
That's a reasonable time to watch it. That puts it off at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, no,
11.
11. Yeah,
11.
Sorry, I don't time very well.
There's a big 2 hour gap there.
Hey.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to a big week of wrestling coming up for us this coming weekend. Chances are next week, if you're wanting to hear some WWE stuff, it's going to be pretty light, as we're going to be super stoked for Ring of Honor. We'll probably record a lot of it pre and post the show. We'll probably do it in the car. In the car, we're going to record part of the podcast. The rest of it will probably be done immediately after watching the GFW pay-per-view. So we might actually get next week's episode out to you a little quicker than normal. Will it be better? Fuck if I know. So for me, Lemon Juice McGee.
Matt Pierce, also the last podcast of the year.
This is the last podcast of the year. Glad you brought that up. This is the last Raw of the year, last podcast of the year, almost last day of the year.
Last Monday of the year.
Things are coming to a quick end here. Hoagie Masters.
Glad to be on the show as always.
And Justin Durbin.
Still wanting to know about that powder for the chafing.
Taint powder.
The taint powder. Okay. Well, after the show, let's close out the show. I'll tell you about the taint powder.
He's got a box of it.
Listen to these end credits. Hit us up on Twitter and the Facebook and our Gmail. Let us know how we're doing. If we suck, if we don't, we'll read your shit on here. We don't care. Later.
Thanks for listening to Developmental Talent, but the show doesn't stop here. For more insane ramblings, be sure to check us out on social media. The links are conveniently listed in the text. Also, feel free to send your hatred, praise, and suggestions to developmentaltalentpodcast@gmail.com.